Hello and welcome back to the channel. You're watching Life with REB. Today we will be doing a recap for previous spending from August 10th through 16th and a look ahead for August 17th through 23rd. So I went and made some changes, y'all. I'm pretty excited. I went ahead and switched out my envelopes inside my budget binders. You might notice I have a couple new binders and just some things that I've been doing over the past week. So we'll go ahead and kind of dive right on into things, move calculator out the way, and we'll go ahead and get started. So last week, just a quick recap, we had our Affirm gas bill, gym membership, ComEd bill, car note, phone bill, lots of spending. I thought a lot more spending was going to happen on Thursday, but it turned out my ComEd bill was actually due Wednesday, so I was a day late on my bill. I don't know what's going on, or maybe I'm writing the dates wrong in my calendar or what, and so I also went ahead and took my advice from myself and decided that I was no longer going to be contributing to my savings for the time being while I have so much debt that I want to continue to work on. So I went ahead and did a complete savings clean out and a savings transfer to my account. This isn't technically income because it was still my money to begin with, but I do still want to annotate it on here that I did transfer that, and that was $877 by the time it was all said and done. So we're going to be distributing a little bit more of that money this month in order to pay down some things. That was our spending and our income from last week. So as per usual, I will go ahead and do the recap of money in and money out at the end of the video. And then our look ahead for this week, bills are a little bit lighter and we're supposed to be getting some more income this week. So nothing for the first half of the week really, but on Wednesday, I'm supposed to have my water due, and then I'm supposed to be getting my drill check. This may come early, so I'm glad I have my erasable pen because I can just swap that over there. And then it looks like I'll have my wax pass due, and then I have my home warranty and my Simply Safe alarm system due. And then, like I mentioned, drill may come on Tuesday, but we'll see. And then Honey will be sending me his contribution for the week. So yeah, that's what our look ahead is looking like. So we'll go ahead and dive into our budget planner, see how we're doing on tracking things. And now for my primary source of income, from working as a dietitian, I received $2,735 total. There was an issue, it turns out, with my last check, and there was a day missing on there. So that day got added onto here. And so that's why this amount is higher than I projected it to be. But I knew something was off with those numbers last time. I know we got our raise and everything, but I still felt like I was missing some money, did some research, and we found out. So I have been logging a little bit more, but haven't kept this fully up to date. But then again, I just bought hygiene stuff today, and today is Sunday, August 17th. So I can go ahead and write that in there. I did record it actually. Hygiene. I spent $22 today at Meijer. So I'll go ahead and write that in real quick. I am still carrying over a negative balance this month because I went and purchased my skincare products. So we'll see where we land with hygiene. I'm not anticipating that I'll need much of anything else for the rest of the month. What did I do? I did purchase a gift. I did. My coworker's birthday was actually, her birthday is technically today, but we celebrated on Thursday because she was going to be out of town on Friday. And then, you know, you want your birthday gifts and your surprises and celebrations before your birthday rather than afterwards. At least that's what I think, in my opinion. So I did get her a gift card and a card. Gifts. What else? I did buy some household stuff. I went to Lowe's today. I had a little plant shopping date with my good friend, and her and I spent about an hour at Lowe's and kind of walked around the garden center, and I bought some plants for my front yard because it is in shambles, and I have become that house on the street that looks unkempt. I think that's pretty much it. If I did miss anything, I'll fill it in throughout the week and then update y'all if there's anything else. So this was my spending. I'm not adding up groceries and eating out until the end of the month anyway. So yeah, we are good to go here. Moving into our budget notebook, I'm going to go through and check off what we may have already paid for this month. All of this stuff is pretty much done. I wonder why I checked this off last time. But anyway, after I pay my water bill this week, that will go ahead, and that's going to come out Wednesday. See, I'm doing it again. Why don't I just not cross it out until I actually pay it, and then I can cross out the whole thing? That makes sense, right? Like, not to jump ahead of it. There's really not too much to share. I guess I can go ahead and update this because, well, we did do that thing. But I do intend to at least try to pay off my Walmart credit card and make a dent in some of my other debts and stuff. So we still have our CDR registration maintenance fee due. I have not paid that yet. It's not due until the 31st. I'll go ahead and put the date there so at least I'm tracking what's going on. And then here I can go ahead and update that I did receive my primary income amount, and that was 25.73, 27.35. A little dyslexic. 27.35. That's all we have going on there. Actually gonna leave this open again for reference. I want to show y'all my updated budget binder and how she's looking. So same old outside, but on the inside, I decided to switch out those envelopes because I was struggling with those pink envelopes and I did not like that they opened up from the inside and it was just awkward. I get the concept of you don't want your money or your stuff to fall out, but I feel like this will do a good enough job of keeping in things because it's secure enough. Really like them. They were on Amazon. They were, I think, like $6 or $7 for a 15 pack or something like that. And I got 3 packs. And I did also return the other envelopes. I got my $20 back from those. So if you have stuff you need to return, go return it. This is your reminder. I went to the bank not too long ago and I withdrew the money that I will have for this week. That breaks down to $25 a week for gas and $75 a week for groceries. So I did already go to the grocery store today and I went to Meijer's and I already spent $25. I have $50 remaining, so I'll have 20, 40, 45, 50. So that's $25 for groceries. And so I'm actually going to go ahead while I have this open. I like to use this regular pen for these because they show up a little bit better. And today is the 17th, so go ahead and update this. Meijer, $25, leaving me with $70 for the rest of the month. I'm in a pretty good spot with groceries right now. Wax Pass, I'm actually not gonna, I wish I had the forethought to pay this in cash today when I went for another touch-up appointment, but I didn't. So this will actually basically move over to the electronic bills binder and I'm gonna pay this online instead. It's actually going to be an automatic withdrawal, so I'm going to set this to the side so I don't forget that that's just going to go to my electronic bills. And then nothing for hair and self-care. So back to the front, we're going to go ahead and allocate our $25 for this week for gas. I also had a car appointment yesterday and I got a free car wash while I was there, so I won't be getting the car wash this month. Save myself $9. Okay. Next, we are going to allocate our electronic bills binder. We are going to take a quick look at what we have for this week. So again, we have our water, Wax Pass, home warranty, and Simply Safe due. So we'll go ahead and go through. see what we heat. Water is getting $104, 101, 102, 103, 104. And you know what? I think I also want to just, it would be kind of cool to track how it changes. So I'm going to start adding that on here. And this is going to come out on the 20th. 104. Oh, because this is all of my bills, I'm going to do water here. Not really a balance left per se. But I like how much easier these budget sheets fit inside these envelopes. Like, I really am happy I made that switch. SAA credit card, I technically did make a payment. So I went back through all my transactions, added up everything that I spent from last month and this month so far that I had to use my card for because my bank account didn't have enough money in it at the time, and I paid all that down. So you'll see a drastic change in my remaining balance and then my debit card available balances as well. Mortgage, home warranty, 57, 50, 5, 6, 7. And these numbers never change, so I really don't need budget sheets in here, but I like it for the aesthetics. Phone bill, Apple iCloud. Y'all, I'm gonna have to create a new note card now that I found out about the glorious Amazon Photos. I no longer need an Apple iCloud subscription. I have plenty of storage space on my phone. Not running into any issues ever since I got Amazon Photos. I'm trying to tell y'all. Alarm went up this month to $33, 20, 30, 1, 2, 3. Last but not least, I'm gonna go ahead and add this in here now because I almost just was so confused, but European Wax Center Wax Pass is getting added into here, and that is 200, 100, 200, 20, 21, 22. It's $222. So I'm gonna get that in there nice and snug. And that is my electronic bills that I do have for the week. I got a couple more binders and I went ahead and created some sinking funds binders. You know, they're still a work in progress. And as you can see, I just had to put the note card on the inside because I don't have the laminated effect, but I actually kind of like this matte effect, this matte look. And it also helps that there's no glare when I'm using my flash on my camera. So I created a low priority sinking funds, and on here I have that CDR maintenance fee, my CPEUs, home repair deductible, wardrobe, and emergency fund. So these are things obviously that have due dates for next year, if not several years away, because I don't think it's realistic for me to have a fully funded emergency fund anytime within the next 2 years. I'm giving it honestly 5 years because that's what seems realistic for me right now. Because you see here, I need to have $24,000 in that account to have a fully funded 4-month emergency fund where all expenses are accounted for. So for wardrobe, I have $1,000. Home repair deductible is $150. I anticipate it might cost another $250 for the remainder of the CPEUs that I'll have due by the end of May next year. Those will be due. And then that fee, now that I know it's coming up, I know it's due annually, but it's just one of those things where you just forget about and you're like, oh, I didn't budget for that, or oh, I didn't plan. So all of these unaccounted for expenses, I'm trying to put them in a sinking funds account. So it's not something that catches me by surprise or I didn't anticipate spending for something. So I'm not going to get them all, but I do want to try. I am trying. So just pretty much have all those categories in here, like I mentioned, and that's all that is. So at the end of the month, ever leftover cash I have for that. Let me show y'all really quick on here. For my rollover cash, then I'll disperse that to the sinking funds accounts. And then this blue one is going to be my high priority sinking funds. So things that I need to try to start getting in order sooner than later. And so on my high priority sinking funds, I have on here wedding because that's actually coming up. That's going to be here before we know it. And I just don't want to be caught by surprise. So I had $1,000 on here. And this, again, I intend to go about this in the most frugal way as possible. Really just going to be the marriage license, the ring, the dress, honey's ring, of course, the dress, and any like self-care sort of thing that I'm gonna do to prepare for that. So, and then of course to, keep in mind flowers and decorations and simple things. So I don't anticipate that I'll spend more than $1,000 honestly on that. I want to participate in the Sister Locks training, and that is a pricey class to take. The class itself is about $1,695. But I wanted to add in taxes and travel and food and that sort of thing. So I just said $3,000. For the dentist, I have $6,700 worth of work they said that I need. And obviously, that's not all at once. It's supposed to be a multi-step treatment plan, and the first thing on the treatment plan is probably like $300 or $400. But still, I'm trying to allocate a high amount to this account each month. Or honestly, any week that I can allocate it, because I do want to just make sure this gets funded to get these procedures that I need done. Next, I have Christmas for next year. Christmas this year is already not looking fantastic. I don't want to completely blow away my budget and just rack up my credit card bill again. That would just be senseless at this point. But I know the holidays, you get in the giving spirit. Well, I'm sorry, I can't afford it. So don't expect a gift from me this year. No, I'm going to try to be thoughtful and intentional with getting things that I can afford. But again, I'm just not going to be completely blowing my budget and putting myself in the negative or undoing all the work that I'm doing just because the holiday is here. Taxes, I anticipate having a couple $100 taken out for taxes. I'm just putting this here as a safety net. I don't anticipate having to spend too much, but you never know. So that is my high priority sinking funds. Oh, and then you probably were reading the amounts, but definitely dentist is the highest on here. And then that Sister Locks training class is $84. Hopefully at the end of the month, I'm able to allocate $496 to these things, because I had a savings goal of $350 a month, but I need to just be more mindful of things that are going to cost and not rely on my credit card at the end of the day. There are going to be hiccups and setbacks, but that doesn't mean we have to throw the whole towel in. I might do something a little bit more fun and like make a little theme or a little doodle on them, but I'm probably just going to keep it simple. And lastly, we have our coins from the week for our vacation fund. Okay, so we'll hold on to this guy and use this as our coin purse for the week. And that pretty much sums up our recap from the 10th through 16th and our look ahead for the 17th through the 23rd. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this week's budget video. Please remember to subscribe and like if you enjoy this type of content. Thank y'all. Take care.